Anyway, my point is gonna be that short, but like I think people will maybe I don't know. Maybe you won't agree, Duncan. But the thing is, like I'm gonna say that Falcons won't win an event this year, event that makes sense, and I'm gonna even include the esports World Cup, and I'm gonna include the if they play any PGL. The only one that I'm not going to include is Fissure and the Yalas and Bad Booms and whatever,
Okay.
right? Like that's the one that I don't care about. But any other real events, including ESLs, PGLs, Blast, they won't win a single thing. The reason for that is that I have watched their games after the break. Like after the break is the time where you know the boot camp, no PC boot camp, whatever the fuck you do, right? I mean, and you obviously have time to do things in the boot camp to make yourself look decent on the event, even if the competition is a little bit stronger at this point, considering you made a change and whatever. What I saw in those games is not tier one, is barely even tier two. The only thing that kept them like going is the sheer pure raw skill from the players they have, you know, and the superstars they have. The amount of this disconnected place and lack of any kind of structure, any kind of execution, any kind of idea or any kind of mechanical practice, or how do you want to phrase it, in a sense that they're missing smokes. They're like the most basic smokes, like the doors for dust 2 or stuff like that, like very simple things. And at the end, without any idea, getting any spacing around, just running around, no spacing, no trading potential, no utility being used properly. It just looked like a team that is there to play 3.9 or 4.1k elo on Face It, and just gonna play one map and just gonna go and play a different map and whatever, right? The amount of and the lack of any kind of fundamentals is just show me that what makes me wonder what the fuck did they do on that bootcamp. Okay, I understand the drawing of the fucking doodles on the board on the fucking no PC whatever couple of days, but what about the rest of the days? Did you actually do something in game? Because if you look at their game, you will see that there is nothing going on except for people headshotting, like Yosuke acing on Dust 2 Furia, and like some people like doing some crazy shit that gets them to be a little bit competitive. Now, that doesn't mean in 2026 they won't fix that, or maybe later this season. But whatever they do now, I don't think it's going to be enough to compete with the likes of Vitality, that is a little bit like in a knockdown right now, but still, you know, consider the number one team. The team that is obviously Spirit, now with a new player, and I've been in Cologne and probably confidence riding high. And then you have Mouse and then Mongols, who obviously destroyed them easily in that Cologne after the break. Even they said that, I don't know if it's true or not, but they said like they had, you know, didn't have a lot of practice, whatever. So, but they still dominated them. So many teams that can actually just run over them. And the only saving grace for them is that raw skill. With raw skill on one event, you actually can win the event, maybe. But I'm betting against it, so I'm going to say no tier one or any relevant events for Falcons.
With this roster?
With this roster till the end of this year. So, or the ongoing season.
Okay. Go on, Maui.
Okay, so your caveats or your exceptions were not any kind of Fisher event. Did you include PGL
No, he
events?
said you can win PGL.
You can win it? Okay, I mean, it's tough to say because, I mean, I know that first Cologne was not what I had expected from them. I mean, it was shocking in its own way because Kyosuke was so out of this world in terms of his individual play, but in terms of the lack of cohesion and how they lost a handful of rounds that just kind of felt sort of unlosable. And you think that the innate teamwork of some of these players would have overcome or just made it so that the rounds that they lost were impossible. But for whatever reason, they just can break down in the dumbest of ways. It's frustrating to watch because I feel like, I mean, selfishly, I would want Falcons to be a clear top 5 along with Spirit, Mongols, Maus, Vitality. But in terms of what they actually showed, I think I know you watched everything they've done since the break, but they are just integrating a new player who I don't actually think has that much of he's not really used to playing in these kinds of systems himself. So even though he did very well, it probably made other people a little bit uncomfortable. And I feel like they're going to smooth some things out. But I mean, if I look at those other 4 elite teams right now, I would probably give Mao's Vitality and Spirit better chances them to win. And with how the season's going, it's not a bad take just because, yeah, I guess if you're betting the field over Falcons, the field is probably going to win because of how strong the top teams are. So I guess it's a good take in that sense.
They lost to Furia, by the way. Just adding that.
Who are like on the cusp of elite, but not really. They haven't really entered that top 4.
The problem with this is
like,
it's not as hot a take, is it, when we just had a season where one team won everything, and then I guess in theory, because you included PGLs, that makes it slightly spicier. But like, if Vitality is the best ever and they win everything anyway, it won't matter how good Falcons is. Like, you could still lose. Like, that can happen if you're the second or third best team. With that said, though, and also then I'll add in, it's really hard to win tournaments. It's not even about, by the way, being like, doesn't Mouse Sports show? It's not even about being really good. Like, sometimes if people don't know, I think Mouse Sports has like the highest average placing aside from Vitality in the whole year, because they're like always top 4 guaranteed no matter what. So, but to actually win is really fucking hard. So, like, obviously, I would never say they're a favourite to win an event, but I don't. The idea they won't win any, especially the PGL one's too far for me, mate. If you said it in like major events where you might have to play like Vitality in a BO5, okay, but the idea that you can't win a PGL, like, bro, at the fucking Astralis was in one of those finals with Huxley. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've had some dodgy ass PGL semi-finalists and finalists. So that one, I don't know about that. I would have just kept it to like ST ESL event type, blast type major events, not bounty. If you kept it to the legit ones, maybe. But even then, I think the problem is a lot of the sort of weight of this argument is that Vitality does exist, and almost certainly I think will bounce back. Like, the biggest joke of all of that was, like, if someone like Ziwu actually plays shit for his level and then Flames gets 1 kill on a map, yeah, everyone can lose, mate. Like, that's not actually that crazy when you look at it. So I don't know, I'm sort of in the middle on this one, because I still do think I tell you what, I won't do the whole side rank because we haven't got time for it. But if anyone watches the recent Feed the Trolls episode that was about like all these rookie players, and we obviously talk about Kiyosuke and Falcons, I did make a point that I am kind of bored of people ignoring, which is how can all of it only be Zonic's fault? I don't get it. Like, Nico is playing the shittest like 3 months of his entire career so far, right? By the way, I'm sorry, does everyone not praise Nico for making calls and having autonomy in the game? Then Monacy, everyone praises him as an AWPer for being an AWPer. You don't tell what to do. He's not a system AWPer. He goes and does what he wants. And then you've added Keisuke, who was a guy who just had the whole game built around him and did whatever he wanted, seemingly, in Spirit Academy. Don't all these players just freelance? Like, how much freelancing do you get before, like, you can't blame the coach? Like, at the end of the day, if I took all these players and put them in a system and took away all their agency, wouldn't everyone say I'm doing a bad job, coach? Like, I don't actually know at this point how you win if you're Zonic on this one. You just have to win in the server, that's it. And even then, everyone will just say you spent 20 million. So at this point, it's fucking joking it. So I think the problem with this team really right now is this is why it's actually a good hot take overall, because I do think the difference is the stakes are enormous. Like, who knows how, but if they can make it work with the players in this team, they could win every tournament, mate. That's why it's actually a good hot take. It's just the question is, if you don't believe they can ever be a functional team, then yeah, they won't win any tournaments. That's the amazing thing about CS, right? We have had super teams where they look fucking amazing on paper, but they don't actually win in the server to the degree you expect. So I don't hate it.
The thing is, like, just to add, like, to your point about Zonic, right? I don't blame only Zonic. I targeted him and Lars because of, like, 18 months, 20 months, and all these players and blah, 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 whatever, right? But there is also a responsibility for other players.
Yeah,
I'll give you an example of, like, let's say Tessis, right? As good as he is, and, you know, on his anchor spot, like, there are rounds on Dust 2 where he misses the top mid smoke, the door smoke for Dust 2, right? That directly kills Kixon, who was crossing middle, and he dies to an op, right? And it kills the round immediately. They had to scramble. Like, those things, you cannot blame Zonic for that one, right? He probably had an idea of what round needs to be done. The round would probably be a little bit better, or maybe a better chance to win. But then you have the guy who is paid, what, $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, allow him to miss the smoke and kill, and his teammates gets killed because of it. The thing that I blame in-game Zonic for is probably the end of the rounds, like the structure of the rounds. Like, I don't see any depth. I don't see any tactical, like, thinking in those rounds, like Ibit Spirit, even by Vitality, who relies more on individualistic skills, but they have a lot of structure, and not to mention Mouse and other teams. overall, it's not only
Here's
Sonic,
what's
right?
funny.
It has responsibility on different teams too.
What might shock you, Kasad, is it's only the Kiyosuke move that actually removes my sympathy for Falcons. You know what? When Sonic recruits that player, Kasad, I have no sympathy for him because you know what? If you recruit that player and it turns out Nico doesn't work, then you should have kicked Nico and recruited him. Otherwise,
I was gonna say the
stick
same.
with Nico.
I said it on my
because I think
Serbian show.
because the dumbest thing about this move is you are the one with infinite money. So no one forced you to recruit another aggressive rifler like Nico. You could have taken the best anchors in the world, literally, to make a list and go from 1 to 5 and offer them all $3 million. You will have the next player that you want.
Anyone.
And tomorrow that team works. So I don't know why you've chosen to create. That's why I said on a past one that actually this is what will win Sonic his reputation back. If this team works, he has reinvented Counter-Strike in a way we don't understand with how the roles work. But then also the other reason I think that I have no sympathy for him is the comment that everyone else takes as no big deal out of that boot camp with no PCs. I don't give a fuck whether there was a PC there. What I care about is that everyone's fine with that comment where Kiyosuke said, I understood about 30% of what people were saying to me. In a fucking English language team, you have recruited for millions of dollars a player who doesn't speak colloquial English to an English language team, and now you're going to tell me, you won't believe it, Thorin, we've got like we've got like role overlaps and we can't understand each other and get tactical. Well, I wonder why! What are you doing? And by the way, the reason this kills me is because in theory, Nico was involved with this decision. That's what we're supposed to believe, right? Here's one of the people who said, yeah, get this guy, right? The reason why that sucks is because Yanko told me years ago in an interview, a comment by Nico I've referenced many times, which is he said that one of the things Nico and people like that learned from being in FaZe Clan is that the right call 1 second late becomes the wrong call, right? How about the right call that can't even be understood by someone else? That is always the wrong call. Like that is so, that detail, by the way, look, it hasn't like decided the fate of the team yet. Maybe he exaggerated it, but that was I found that comment really alarming because I then thought back on it the second they bombed this tournament. I was like, well, no wonder you just play like headless chickens who don't know fucking style of play. Like, by the way, what you see even is an amazing Nico mid-round call if I don't understand what it means and how I can't immediately act on it. Like, you've just taken away all of the power of the team. So that's why, in a weird way, in that sense, I don't have as much sympathy. I think essentially that's the ultimate gamble, Kasad. You either are going to show, like, basically, like, I am the greatest of all time. I can do things you can't even imagine with the game, or I have just done like one of the biggest high-profile like failed transfers ever. It's got to be one of the two, in my opinion.
Give me 45 more seconds before you go into your point.
By the way, here's the joke. You know what, Kasad? I'll spin it another way. Here's my hot take. You're either right. They either win no tournaments or they win like 4 tournaments, bro. There you go. It's only one or the other. Because you know what I mean? If it works, by the way, it's going to be one of the most insane teams ever. But if it doesn't, it could completely not work at all. I think that's what's mad about it.
The thing is, they don't have the honeymoon period ever. Like, that, they counted on that one, probably. That's not happening. But the thing is, like, I said the same thing on the Serbian show that I do. Like, they, similar to what you said, basically, the wrong move, right? They needed a center back and they replaced, like, Virgil van Dijk with fucking Haaland. Like, it doesn't work that way. And you said it nicely. Any kind of top 5 anchors would join that team because of the players, because of the financials. There is not a single player that would say no. And you decided to go for a superstar, and then you might as well kick Nico and just send him somewhere else. And I didn't even know about the fucking 30% thing.
I mean, it was said on an interview, but I believe it's on HLTV.org. Someone looks it up. It says something like only stood about 30%, and someone honestly was translated for me or something weird like that.
Just imagine.
And by the way,
imagine.
It doesn't even have to be Kasad that crazy. Do you know what? I would have way more sympathy for the project if you'd recruited Perfecto instead of this. You know what I mean? If you'd have tried to make the roles work and try and actually make a functional, normal team,
And cut down on your fucking vacation as well. Like, you want to be the best, you want to be the number one. Take Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. They didn't have fucking summer vacations all the time when they fucking bombed the season in whatever, 88 or 95, 96, 97, whatever the fuck year was. They went immediately to work. Like, you cut the vacation short instead of posting pictures from fucking boats and fucking whatever the fuck you do, right?
Boys, I've got it. Do you want to spin into my hot take?
Learn some fucking English to the new player so he can understand your calls. Yeah, go.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.